Hello, this is Jared Marty-Kennedy, and this is my project Oxymoronic. Would you like to play a game that takes the team cohesion, immersion, and fast-paced combat of Destiny and smashed together with the fantasy, skills, loot, and adventure of World of Warcraft? That is what I'm hoping to do with Project Oxymoronic. This game would be within a first-person view and takes place with a fantasy setting. Players will want to conquer the goal of the ultimate quest to slay the dragon at the end of the raid. To get to this ultimate goal, players will need to build their arsenal and gain more experience. This is accomplished by completing quests. Quests are the main content of the game and primarily are in 4 categories of difficulty: quests, dungeons, lairs, and finally the raid. Players get to choose from a select number of classes when starting the game, including things like warrior, mage, archer, or priest. They will start in a hub world where they will talk with vendors and quest givers. These vendors sell things like weapons, armor, or potions. From there they can select the next quest and head off. The game is primarily made of cooperative combat between our heroes. These can be any party of 4. Let's look at a warrior to get a feel for our heroes. Warriors use a shield and sword to start. After a while they can branch into 3 main paths. They can stay in the path of the shield and sword, they can use a 2-handed weapon, or they can dual wield the swords. They also have a variety of skills like charge, rage, critical strike, whirlwind, and many more. All the characters have unique weapons, abilities, and upgrade trees similar to these. For combat, player will have a couple of things they can do. They can use their weapon, and of course, but they are limited to their 3 abilities that they equip. They must fight their ways to finish the quest. As well as combat, areas have small puzzles that require the team to work together. These aren't always elaborate puzzles, but small things that make them think. The enemies are a variety of fantasy creatures such as orcs and goblins, and even larger foes like daemons and ogres. These enemies all offer unique battle strategies. Orcs will charge you, whereas things like drows will keep their distance with their bow. The environment is also a force to be reckoned with. The forces of evil leave traps in their camps and hideouts, so you must be careful. Let's look at a quest to see how it progresses. Players will begin at a cave entrance where they can fight off some orcs and goblins. Once inside, they see a magical circle laid on the ground. When they enter it, the ground shakes and 3 pillars slowly fall. Enemies start pouring in. You notice that inside the circle you cannot use your abilities. You need someone to stay in. If you put someone like the priest, they can't defend themselves as easily, but you can have more team damage. If you put a warrior in the center, then he can defend himself since he isn't reliant on abilities, but you also lose out on some offensive capabilities. These are things you need to worry about. Most of the time players are deciding how to proceed. Since combat is real time, they must think on their feet and what they should do. If their health is low, they may need to weigh the pros and cons of using a potion. They also need to balance using their abilities considering they have cooldowns. Since the game is co-op, they also need to worry about their team as well. These are all important factors when making a decision. Some of the biggest problems I can first see with this game are the networking errors. I haven't accomplished making a network between 2 computers before, so if this is the problem, then we'll switch to local co-op. The other fear I have is scope. This game could potentially get way too big, but with the open structure of the game, it should be easily scalable. Like I stated before, the game is comparable to that of Destiny. I modeled the quest structure to be like Destiny to keep the game from feeling huge. The other difference is that Destiny is centered around gunplay, whereas in this fantasy setting this is not the case. World of Warcraft is another game I would say is similar. This game borrows heavily from the class structure and similar abilities. This game, however, is supposed to be more streamlined. The small amounts of abilities in single weapon makes players feel less overwhelmed. Project Oxymoronic is a cool take on the genre that we have seen before. This approach feels more cinematic and dynamic than RPGs before it, though. Thank you for listening to my capstone project idea.